Hey everybody, Aaronator here. We got our 20th episode of our Colorado Avalanche franchise mode here on the PS4, guys. In the last episode, we went and played in the Stanley Cup Finals. As you can see, we are the Stanley Cup champions of the 2019 season. It's right there. You can see it right in front of your faces, right there. And so let's go quickly check out the awards before we go on into the off season. There's quite a few things that we have to do. Make sure you go check out last episode because we swept Pittsburgh. I couldn't believe it. That was crazy. But you know what? I'm glad that our team was finally able to get to those Cup Finals, and not only did we get there, we won it. It would suck to get there and then not win it. So you gotta take your chance. When you get to some place, you gotta go all out and get it, because if you lose that Stanley Cup Finals like Pittsburgh did, you may not get a chance for quite a few years. I mean, they were just back there like they hadn't been there for 3 years, and a lot of teams aren't as lucky as they are. So you gotta go right direct in. You gotta try and win when you get the chances. So there you go. It was Pittsburgh and Colorado in the Stanley Cup Finals. President's Trophy went to Buffalo, and then of course Stanley Cup to Colorado. Art Ross Trophy goes to Connor McDavid. He wins his first. Art Ross. He's probably 22 right now, 21, 22, so pretty young. He's still got many years, and he's going right into his prime, so good for Edmonton. Hart Memorial goes to Connor McDavid. James Norris goes to Chris Letang, so I'm not actually sure. I don't think he's actually won any of the James Norris, but he was definitely worthy after he helped lead his team to the Stanley Cup Finals for potentially one of the last times in the franchise's organization for another couple of years, because I mean, guys like Malkin and Crosby and Letang, they're all 32 or older pretty much, so tough luck for them. Lady Bing goes to Connor McDavid. Calder Memorial goes to Josh Hosang. Yeah, I believe we checked him out, actually, his stats, and I think he had like 68 or something points, and he was like an 83 overall, I think. Conn Smythe Trophy goes to Tyson Barrie. So you know what? I have to, whatever happened, whether it was the goalie or the forward in Matt Duchene, Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, Brad Marchand, we have so many pieces to this team, and Tyson Barrie definitely stepped up, and he played lots of minutes like he should be. Definitely an underrated defenseman. The game doesn't see him as a top 2 defenseman, yet he's still 90 overall. Vezina Trophy goes to Martin Jones. William N. Jennings goes to Jake Allen and Evan Fitzpatrick. That would be kind of rude. Bill Masterton goes to Adam McQuaid. Frank J. Selke goes to Patrice Bergeron. And Ted Lindsay goes to the great Connor McDavid. He's won 3 trophies. And then Maurice Richard goes to Steven Stamkos 2 times in 3 years. Good for him. AHL, let's quickly skim through it, and then you guys can pause it if your favorite AHL team or something. If you're from Charlotte, there you go. They won their division in 2019. But we're just going to look and see. I don't see San Antonio. There you go. So we actually made it to the West. We made it to the finals. That's actually awesome. So we went up against Toronto when we lost, but that's okay. That's good for the AHL team. Mitch Marner had the most points in the AHL. He had a wild year. I guess he didn't make the NHL team then. I wonder if that means his growth is done. Maybe he's not going to be an NHL player in this GM mode. And there you go. So no other individual player stats. I'm sure Yakubov had a filthy year. So there you go. I spent a bit of time on that, and now we are going to go to the draft. I actually looked at our contract situation, and it's a lot shakier than I thought. We have big signings that we have to make. Matt Duchene has to be signed. There's the lottery. We did not win it. Vancouver got 9th. Los Angeles, New York Islanders, and Calgary are the top 3 teams. Chicago's already in 4th, so they're dropping off. Lots of the juggernaut teams are starting to drop off a bit. But yeah, we have Duchene. Ehrhoff got retired in a Colorado uniform. There you go. Actually, not really. He was more in San Antonio, but hey, not bad. There's the players. You guys can quickly check them out by games played. That's usually the best way to do it. Just check out the real veterans, and then obviously points helps out as well. Steen and all those guys. Rennie Bork on Pittsburgh. He was on Pittsburgh? Wow, that's actually interesting. Interesting to note that. Oh, shoot. I forgot goalies. Sorry, guys. That was twice. I forgot goalies, I think, or something. That really sucks. So anyways, yeah, we have Varlamov who has to be signed now. He's going to want a big upgrade. Varlamov and Duchene are the big guys. I looked, and we are going to have to trade someone, guys. His name is Carl Soderberg. His contract, he has 2 years left at 4.75, a great contract. He can play defensive hockey and offensive hockey. Problem is, I know that our team can win with the team we have, even without Soderberg in the lineup, and he's 33, and we need to sign guys like Duchesne and Varlamov. We want to sign our core players. Soderberg was a core player, and he always has been a great playoff performer, but you know what? It's time to move on. So, especially with the guys like Yakupov and Patan, I don't want them to be playing either in the AHL or the fourth line. They're getting up in the age. At least Patan is at 24, so. And Yakupov, I'd like to play him in the NHL next year, not on the fourth line, so. Let's go right into the draft because, I mean, at this point, it's not like we need to scout anybody. We already won the cup. We can look at some scouted players in a bit, but we'll just do that when we get to our picks. So let's check out the top couple picks. R. Korpikari goes to the LA Kings, a good defender, possibly to go alongside of Drew Doughty. B. Kavanaugh, defensive defenseman, high top 4. That's not fantastic. It's not elite, but it's still 4 green stars. That's not too shabby for the Islanders. Calgary, they get the 3rd pick, and they, oh goodness, M. Bezina, he's a high top 9, so it's dropping off pretty quick. I mean, high potential, that's great, but for it to not even be top 6, a bit shaky. There's an elite potential. Defensive defenseman Svatos. High top 9s and high top 6s or high top 4s, they have great value. You can trade with them. Sometimes they develop into higher overall players, but it definitely is the elites that can usually get into 90s and above. Kuka goes to the Ottawa Senators, and Grinder, Brunstrom, Ponomarovsky, low elite offensive defenseman. Vancouver Canucks, who did they pick? They picked a medium starter, Kondratev, the hybrid goalie. And then 10th pick will be Florida, low elite power forward, L. Bier. Okay, so let's sim to user pick. We can quickly check out all the other guys. I probably just after the first 5 picks should have just kept on going, like simmed all user picks, but whatever. So lots of top 6 players. Goalies, obviously goalies can always have the chance. That kind of sucks for Vancouver. I mean, Kondratev, medium starter, but then they miss it on 2 medium elite goalies. Obviously starter, it always depends. It depends on how they develop. Elites can sometimes only top off at 80, so it just depends. Maybe Vancouver lost out on that one. That would be unfortunate. And LaRose, medium top 6. So it looks like some top 6 forwards are still coming in. I'm hoping I can get a top 6 forward or a top 4 defenseman. There's an offensive defenseman in Grigorenko. Ooh, a defensive defenseman. I think the plan was, excuse me, either maybe a centerman, because I know we have a center named Nicholson in the system. I checked on before this, so I know what I want to draft. But defense is definitely the one thing that we're a bit lacking in potential-wise, so... Offensive defenseman, Stanislav Grigorenko. He has some decent stats. I'm not seeing anything else that I trust too much. How about this guy? HL top 6? No, he's 20 years old. Nothing else scouted. Defensive, or just defenseman in general. Morgan Myers, high 7th defenseman. I have a feeling he'd be top 6, but good overall. I'm trying to look at potential and overall, because it all matters. I think all these guys would be top 6s. And although I like having the better overall, right now, I don't mind if they need time to develop. If they can still develop into top 4 defensemen, I'd like that to happen. So there are a couple guys that I seem interested in here from names that I not recognize, but just from the stats. 2 offensive defensemen, Morgan Myers, and then Grigorenko. I'm going to go with the exact top 4 because that seems like the smartest choice. If he's low top 4, it's okay. If he can be a higher overall to get closer to the NHL, I don't mind. Whatever works. So we're going to take Stanislav Grigorenko. I believe it was Stanislav. And let's go double check. Kind of is a bit sucks when you can't see the last pick. And low top 4. So I kind of expected that just by the way the draft was going. But you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with the pick we made. And we can just sim to use pick. I'm not sure if we have a second round pick. Do we have a second round pick? Or did we trade it away? No, it's taking longer to sim. And I think with quite a few trades we've made the past year or so. Trouba, I think we traded a draft pick, but that might have been a different draft pick. I think this, yeah. Oh, goodness. 2nd and 3rd round were skipped over. Okay, that's okay. Let's go and pick with the 4th pick. Goalie actually would be a nice thing. Cahill and Nordgren, so I might look at that. Safronov, what are his stats? He's 20 years old, doesn't have greatest stats. I'll pass. Curtis Brain, 6'4". Clinton Archer. Vladimir Kuleshov. I'm not seeing good stats, so I'd even take a risk on a goalie probably, or the grinder. Maxim Vorbev. No, I'll pass. Stand-up goalie, 20 years old, from the Czech Republic. Tyrone Cahill, 19 years old, from, I believe that's Hungary. I think that's like the Netherlands, so I don't know. I could be wrong. And Frederick Nordgren. So, scouted players. Do I have any scouted goalies? Kyle Kaiser. Oh, I know this guy. Yeah, he has usually decent stats, and he's like high AHL starter. And I actually got him to. I've seen him get to 85 overall once, and even better in previous games. But you know what? I think I will take a couple goalies here. So, wait, Axleave. Oh, this was all scouted players. So let's go for the goalies. There's quite a few here, 4th, 5th round. I think I want to go HL fringe starter, HL backup. I think it makes sense. He's the youngest, and he's a Swede, super Swede. Hopefully he's a good goalie. We're going to go and take Frederick Nordgren with our 4th round pick, the last pick in the 4th round. And let's go quickly double check and see what he was at. And low fringe starter, so not great. But you know what? They can always develop. You never know. That's okay. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I would rather take another cup than a really insane good draft pick. If it's in the 5th round, I mean, high franchise, maybe. But, I mean, Stanley Cup is the whole point of why you draft those guys, right? So, yeah. I'm not seeing any other players, so I wouldn't go for the Canadians. Victor Grachev. I really wouldn't go for other Canadians. Oh, yeah. I think goalies. We got to take Kyle Kaiser because he'll be moving on, so... Kaiser, let's go pick him up. He'll be high AHL starter. I know that for a fact. Unless it somehow got changed in a roster update, but I doubt it. Yeah, high AHL starter. So not too bad. Sim to user pick. I like picking with the depth picks, guys, just in case you guys don't know me. That's just what I prefer. But we'll try and make it quick here. A lot of Canadians. Once again, I don't really trust this. I'd rather even go with depth picks. 6'5", Creef, Andy DeMeo. Is there anybody else? Tino Bleichard, Brodziak. Is there any potential AHL starter? Brendan Bonello. I don't see anything there. Georgian Carlson, Creef, DeMeo. These are really not great stats. Is there anything else? Roberts, Elijah Roberts, Nicholas Budin. I'm just looking. I mean, I really don't like any of the selections here. They're all from the junior leagues, and this is year 3. Once it gets into even later years, then it'll be okay. It's year 3, right? Yeah, it's year 3. Okay, so I'm just going to pick the guy with probably some of the best potential, and I think that's the AHL starter. I'm okay with taking a 3rd goalie. Is there anything else? You know what? No, I'll take Creef. Alexander Creef, 6'5". I don't know. There's really nothing much you can do. I'd rather even take a risk on one of those unknowns, so maybe we'll do that with our last pick. And you know what? I'll check out the last guy, Creef, when we get to our signings, because we will be doing the re-signs in this episode. Let's quickly go check. Okay, so Voracek, Czech Republic, winger. Ooh, that would be interesting. I'm not seeing too much. Donofrio, yeah, he's OHL. So, is this guy OHL? No, he's from the Czech leagues. Blanchard, he's from the States. Lethbridge Hurricanes. You don't want to go for the. I already said this. You don't want to go for the guys in the OHL and the CHL. Let's go for McKee. Hungarian goalie, 6'2", butterfly, 19 years old. Why not take it? Well, maybe even a winger. Oh no, he's from CHL. Drummond. No, we'll go with the younger guy, 6'2". There you go, McKee. And what are we going to get out of him? He's going to be low HL fringe goalie. I didn't really expect anything. It wasn't a great draft, but we selected a couple guys. So Grigorenko and that other guy that we picked up, the goalie, Frederick Nordgren. So not bad. Not great, but not bad. It's not like we got AHL players. I think that's when it gets really bad. So let's go. We have to sign lots of guys. I'll make sure to skip this part for you guys, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, guys, we are back, and I finished up most of the signings. I got a few other ones that we have to look at afterwards, but we're going to see where we're at after we got our big names like Varlamov and Duchesne out of the way. So let's see, along with some of the minor signings that we had to make, let's see who came back and decided to re-sign with the Colorado Avalanche. So we'll advance today, and Semyon Varlamov, and you can see up the top there, Matt Duchesne, and there you go, Matt Duchesne, excuse me, he has decided to re-sign. That's awesome, because I actually got both Varlamov and Duchesne for really good contracts. I'll make sure to show you guys in a bit. Mike Sislo, Gabriel Bork, re-signed Ben Smith. Michael Neuvirth decided to reject a contract renewal. I really do want him to come back for us because he played great as a backup, and I know I can trust him. So we're going to try and see if we can get him signed. Alex Biega, Duncan Siemens, Eric Thorell, Willem Westland. These are more younger guys-ish, and a lot of them are more just depth for the AHL. So then our AHL continue to be competitive, because AHL team was very successful last year, and I don't want to take away too many of their pieces that they had. Defense, let's keep on looking. Weirkosh, I'm going to show you guys right now. He wants 3.3, and we're already at 9 million. We're still having to sign Zadorov, Neuvirth, and Patan as well. Shahan, he dropped up to 84. I just wanted to show you this. I've had bad times with him in the past. We don't need any more centers. Even if we could play him on the wing. His defensive stats aren't great. At least his defensive awareness isn't for him being a two-way forward. So I'm deciding, just because he wants tons of money and he just came out of the AHL playing great, I'm not bringing him back. We can get a new center for the AHL. Martinson, he's been with our team for a while. He wants 1 million. I'd rather do a two-way deal, because I sort of prefer Ben Smith, I think. And we do have Gabriel Bork, who seems to play better. So we'll try and see if we can get Martinson here for a two-way contract. I wouldn't mind giving him one way, but even at that, it's just a bit extra money that, I don't know, I think I'd rather spend it on a different player, maybe a proper left winger, not just a center. We could just convert him to the wing, but I don't know. It's just my personal preference. So it looks like Patan will top about a third line scoring forward. So he wants 3 years. The best way we can get the best way to get cheap players is we give them what they want. He wants 3 years to get into his prime, and then he can go off to free agency. If he grows, then this could be a problem. But 3 years at a good cap, I think 1 point. You know what? I think I have to give him 2 million. That's 1.95, not quite 2 million, but he wants 3 years, and so if he wants 3 years, he's gonna take a bit of a salary cap hit, or at least he's gonna take off some of how much he wants just to be on this team. Maybe 2 million, but we'll see what he comes back with. Weirkosh, I really don't see us being able to sign him. He did do pretty good in the season, I believe, but playoffs, -4, 1 goal. He didn't do bad, and I liked his contract, but that's with the contract that he had. So we're going to release him because we just too much, multiple morale changes, unfortunately, in a negative way. But you know what? We got to deal with it. One thing is, guys, I did mention earlier that I wanted to trade Soderberg. I completely forgot about that during the draft. For now, I'll see what you guys think, if you guys really want to keep him, because we probably could keep him. It's just with all the forwards we have, his age, his contract's coming up next year. Whatever you guys think makes sense for the lineup. Then in the next episode, along with free agency, we can make the trades that we need to make. You guys can let me know. As for Zadorov, I'm going to show you how much he wants for each year. 1 year doesn't make too much sense. 2 years maybe makes sense, just for, again, you could get him for a good cap hit probably. 3 years, 4 years. I think 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years is the max, and even at that, we're going to some of his prime years as a UFA, and he's going to want 4 and a bit. And 8 years, I like this. He wants 6 million for 8 years. Does that mean we trade Johnson? Bigras is a top 6 defenseman. He was a top 4 last time I checked, but I think he can be a top 4 defenseman. So do we want to trade either Bigras, Zadorov, Trouba, or Johnson? Do we want to trade one of these guys? I'm not trading Barry. Do we want to trade? I think the two or three. I really want to keep Bigras. Trouba, I think I want to keep. Zadorov, I don't know. He's just a bit shaky. I haven't seen the many great stats out of him, but he could develop. So that's what I'm sort of leaning towards. Johnson has just been great for us entirely, and at this point, him being 31, even for 2 more years, I wouldn't mind keeping him or so. Once we get into even more cap problems with Barry, then maybe we can trade Johnson, but I really would like to keep Barry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to qualify Zadorov, and you guys can let me know what you think about Zadorov staying with the team. We can trade him just straight up, but I'd like to keep him for as long as possible. Neuvirth, I gave him like 1.5 1.45, I think. So I'm going to give him 1.5. I think that's a fair deal. I think last year he had less. So we'll just try and still, he played great, but I'd like to, once again, keep this team in a good cap hit. I know it's all this little bits that we're taking off, but that could easily save $1 million or $2 million to trade for a player. Nick Patan signed, so I will not accept a two-way deal, end of story. That's what Martinson says. Newvrith, it's important to him to get what he wanted for contract length, I think he said. I don't know, 1 year, that's fine. It's a good contract, and he played well for us. So if he wants to come back to this team, that's awesome. We would love another goalie to come in and come in if Varlamov goes down again. Hopefully that does not have to happen though. So there's some of the prospects, Kreef and Grigorenko. If you didn't see their overall, 65 overall for low top four. Grigorenko, offensive awareness, passing look to be 2 strong stats. Defensive awareness isn't that great. Shot looks to be okay. I'm just looking for like the highest stats in each category. So. Kreef, Martinson, I'm going to pass on Martinson. I think we're okay for now. I like to just wait. So if we did want to sign Zadorov to a 6, probably we can get him for 5.5 for 8 years or something like that. We could do something like that if we wanted to. Maybe $5 million for 6 years. I don't know. So those just ballpark what we could do. We have the money to do that if we want to sign him long term. Just remember to think about guys like Barry. So 2 things. Do we trade Soderberg? If so, when? Same with Yakubov. Do we play him? That means if Soderberg comes back, then do we play him? Let's send him to free agency. If Soderberg comes back, do we? He recovered from an injury, which is nice. Please don't tell me it went past days again. I think we've had that in the past. Okay, good. Trade block. Okay, so we can skip that. But you guys let me know on Zadorov how many years we should sign him for. How many do you think? I'm sort of, when it comes to those kind of players, especially with the stats, I'm not sure if I want to keep him or not keep him. It's not a matter of keeping him. Sorry, I just want to know. He is an RFA. Teams may want him. He wants 3 years now for 4.3. That could be a good contract, but just remember he'll be a UFA when that happens. So this is our chance to either trade him or. I mean, we could trade him when he's 27 or something. I don't know. But you guys let me know. What do you think we should do with Zadorov, and what do you think we should do with Soderberg? Because once again, it's not necessarily whether I want to keep Soderberg. I mean, I'd love to keep him, sort of, but he's 33. He could drop off. And we do have guys like Patan and especially Yakubov who are coming up. So you guys just pitch in on that. Any of those players. And if there's anybody in free agency, role players, I mean, you look at this, Turris, he was a second liner. He could bump up back to like an 87 or something if we want to take that risk. We can go 4 years at like maybe 4.5 or something like that, 4.4, 4.45. Like even guys like that, Tanner Pearson, more of a defensive forward, actually more offensive probably. Is there any, Hagelin, I guess more of a defensive forward. Henrique, do we want to trade for a different second line center? Or at least sign one. Contract-wise, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to go over 6.5. I actually realized Marchand was the highest paid player, but I was able to... I didn't show you the contracts, but that's okay. These are all the players that you can look at overall-wise, role-wise. I like to look at roles because then you get them for good signings. This would be a guy to sign. This is just imagine it's sort of like he's a European goalie. It looks like Boris Plekhanov. I'd say sign him. For sure, there's nothing wrong with that. You can sometimes people say it's cheap to sign guys from free agency. It's not like he's medium elite coming from first overall pick. I mean, he's medium starter. Guys come out of college all the time, and I mean, obviously they may not become starting goalies all the time. You guys understand, hopefully. Dauphine, he'll be medium top 9. I'd say probably not. Doesn't look like there's too many. There's RFAs and then there's UFAs. So let's go check out UFAs. There's really not much. Reichel, Christian Reichel, not much. So unless we're looking medium bottom 6, is there any? Yeah, there's medium 70s. There's really not too many potential players there. I think depth-wise we can get some guys. Depth-wise and then maybe that potential goalie I'd like to get for sure. Ennis, whatever you guys think. If we need a forward we do need a top 6 defenseman, so we should quickly top on that if you guys think there's anybody available. Edler, no, that's not happening. We got to look for top 6 defensemen. Mathot, he's good defensive categories. 34 though, and he's top 6, so Is there anybody? Let's see, top 6 and good contract. Good contract. That's a key thing. Roles. How about role players? Manson, Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson actually, he has shot blocking 89 right now. That could be interesting. He's 32 though. Just look, I mean, age and player types and stuff like that. Do we want a defensive defenseman? Do we want a top 6 offensive defenseman? Do we want a depth defenseman? Do we maybe one of our prospects? I actually noticed Nicholas Malak could be coming up soon. I'm spending so much time on this, guys. I don't want to do too much more, but just to quickly show you guys, because I said I would, just view contracts, and you guys can see what we could potentially need, and then out of the players you saw to sign. So goalie situation looks steady. Maybe another guy in the AHL. I just decided to let go of Smith and Picard, and Werner is he can probably handle an AHL job. There's the defenseman once again. AHL Malak is 78, so we could give him the chance, but I wouldn't mind signing another defenseman. We also still have to sign Zadorov, so that we can have all 5 defensemen, and then plus whoever we get, either Malak or another guy. Right wings, there's the prospects. We could sign Nazarov, but right wings we could probably use Como. I mean, this is probably looking. I mean, we're gonna move someone to the left wing. Probably Yakupov will go to the right side. I think that makes the most sense. Marchand, Landeskog, Rantanen will be so that looks to be the lineup there, and then Yakupov go to the right side, and then you got those 4 guys, maybe Como or Patan on the 4th line again. And then Soderberg, McKinnon, Duchesne, Colborne could go on the 4th line, and Soderberg could be an amazing 3rd line center, and we'd still have cap space after we even sign a top 6 defenseman here, and possibly Zadorov. But 1 year left, we could flip him for a draft pick and or a prospect, and Colborne proved that he can be a good 3rd liner. So I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think about that. Should we keep Soderberg? Should we not? And then how many years for Zadorov? So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope it was good enough for you, I guess. And that will be it. Once again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.